But these first two stages are the most difficult stage.
Okay.
Once you crack visibility, if people start knowing you and then they start trusting you, opportunity is very easy. What Guru Mantra they have given, and that's what I have learned, is you cannot create content every day. And do not start your content journey, not even the first post, unless you have 2 months content ready.
Ready in your hand.
It is all about discipline,
Correct.
consistency, right? You have to do it, and it's very difficult.
Yes.
So, for example, right, when you say Apple, you know Steve Jobs. When you say Persistent, you know Anand Deshpande, right? When you do Tata, right? Today we know, Ratan Tata, right? So people relate with people.
Hi, hello, namaste. I am Namrata Kamatkar and I welcome you to the new series, Dream Big, the podcast where we deep dive into the world of entrepreneurship, technology and growth. In each episode, we will bring you the insights from industry experts who have turned their dreams into reality. Today we have a very special guest with us. He is not just a social media influencer, but also the co-founder and CEO of Comsense Technology, a leading IT company, and also a director of 2 international schools. All of you must have heard about his business journey and his growth strategy before. But today, I'm going to prick his brain on the long problem statement of nano entrepreneurs, social media marketing and management. To navigate us through this topic and his journey, I warmly welcome Mr. Sagar Babar. Hello, sir. Namaskar.
Hello.
In today's business era, there is a long problem of social media marketing and management. And it is seemed that it is very essential for nano businesses in their growth strategies and especially during their growing phase of business. So why do you think it is important and how is it important?
So see, we all know that today everyone is carrying a phone, right?
Correct.
That was the first step. And also everyone is scrolling.
Correct.
Right? That means your consumer is carrying a phone and he's scrolling.
Correct.
That means whatever business you do, if that is your consumer, then the medium is mobile and the scroll. Right? So wherever he's scrolling, you should be there.
Right.
Right? That is why. And how is also very important. We'll discuss now. But how do we do it? It's very simple. That you should know where my customer is. There only you should go. That is very, very fundamental of marketing. So marketing, execution of marketing is just 20%.
Right.
But planning, who is your customer, understanding your customer, where he's going, what he's reading, analytics, that is all a back end of marketing. That is also most important.
Absolutely, bang on. Like you said, that where is your customer is very important.
Right.
But there are so many social media channels.
Right.
There are so many social media platforms. Looking at my business, which one is the most appropriate channel and platform for my business? How does the entrepreneur kind of identify it?
See, I think there are many, but if you take top 4 or 5, so what we have? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn and Twitter.
Correct.
Let's say these are the top 5.
Correct.
Right? Now, this is general rule. That's what everyone follows. Is that Instagram is for young audience.
Okay.
If your audience, if your consumer, if your customer is below 30, Instagram is your channel.
Correct.
Facebook is known for 30 plus audience.
Okay.
Facebook is known for communities. They have communities. Right? Is known for that. And also Facebook is still very popular in tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Right.
Now YouTube is for more matured audience.
Right.
You can say YouTube is where you already have a follower.
Right.
They are like mature audience.
Right.
That is the last one. And then LinkedIn is for B2B companies who want to sell to B2B.
Correct.
Their customer is not B2C. When I say B2B means a company buys from a company.
Right.
So that's business to business. So there LinkedIn is there. Twitter is mix of all, right? But it is a tool you can use more for your branding, your presence and all, than more than marketing.
Right.
So I think these are some of the high level guidelines you should use. I would say the most trending, if your consumers are below 30, should be Instagram.
Okay.
And when you say Instagram, videos is the most important content on Instagram.
Correct.
So that's what I will say.
Absolutely. In line with the demographics and the choosing of platform according to the demographics. But many a times we see that these nano businesses, from the branding perspective, also need to have their presence on multiple social media channels at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Content or the posts, which we typically call, do they need to change related to the same topic on various channels, or this remain the same?
No, absolutely. There are very less chances that it should be same.
Right.
Unless your audience, your consumer is same on those channels.
Right.
But like I said, Instagram is for Gen Z, right? Facebook is for 30 plus. That means this type is completely different.
Right.
And the content which 30 plus will like and the content which under 30 will like is completely different.
Right.
That clearly means you cannot copy.
Right.
And LinkedIn, now video is coming, but LinkedIn you can write more content, you can write it instead of video. And YouTube is mix of all, but there you have more matured audience, like if you have long videos, right? So you can say like this. So if you are starting a business and you want audience, then it should be Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
Now, if you have some audience, you have proven that you have 1,000 customers.
Right.
Now you want to nurture them more, right? Then go to YouTube. So that is one strategy you can use.
Right.
So now there is also concept of YouTube shorts.
Shorts, yeah.
That can also be used like Instagram. There you can copy your videos.
Okay.
So YouTube shorts and Instagram
Right.
videos can be similar.
Right.
But YouTube long videos and Instagram cannot be similar.
Right. Correct. And while we speak on this, getting into the most common, I would say, phase of today's social media marketing and management, the content creation bit of it.
Right.
Initially, Instagram or Facebooks typically used to be used for branding, for advertising one's business, for talking about the new products or services which they have kind of launched. But today, along with their typical services or training or manufacturing of any products, whatever they are doing, more additionally, what has been into the picture is content creation.
Yeah.
These days, people generally have the tendency of generating the content even if it is not related to their business.
Yeah.
So just wanted to, gain your inputs and thoughts on how do you look at this content creation business from all industries' perspective typically?
You're absolutely right. Content is the king.
Yeah.
But social media, when we spoke, right, one of the major impact social media brings is in visibility, right? So I say there are 3 steps, okay, in social media. One is visibility, next is credibility, and then it is opportunity, right? So when you plan your social media, you plan it like this. First, make you visible, then become credible, and then take opportunity.
Okay.
Right? Now, content can be created for all these 3 things.
Correct.
Right? First is visibility. Right? You have to create content from visibility. Right? And what is the core for content creation? So, when you are creating content from visibility, try with your stories. So, for example, deAsra works with a lot of nano entrepreneurs. And let's say one of the nano entrepreneur is a Vada Pav center in Indore.
Okay.
Let's say they have started a new Vada Pav center in Indore. That person should start with his stories. How his day starts, what he's doing when his day starts, right? Where do you procure the potatoes? All those things, because people like stories, right? Your day-to-day activities, your stories, content, genuineness, that's what you have to start for visibility.
Correct.
To build credibility, there are multiple things. One, either you should show that many people are eating it, right? Second, you can build credibility by your own. Means what? So for example, so today, like you introduced me, right? Sagar Babar, social media influencer. So I build that credibility with genuine content. So suppose you have a social media business, you have to build credibility by giving knowledge.
Correct.
So credibility is by giving knowledge. So you should always think what value I can give it to customers,
Okay.
to my prospects. Giving tips, sharing something. Suppose if you learn something in some conference, you come on a video and share,
Correct.
right? This is what you can do. And then finally go to the opportunity.
Okay.
But these first two stages are the most difficult stage.
Okay.
Once you crack visibility, if people start knowing you and then they start trusting you, opportunity is very easy.
Okay.
Then it's all about business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these are the steps you should follow.
Correct.
Now, what happens is content creation is not easy.
Correct.
So for example, you have started your podcast journey now, right? It is all about discipline,
Correct.
consistency, right? You have to do it. And it's very difficult because like for example, I run a software company. I have my day-to-day jobs.
Correct.
I have my day-to-day work and still I have to create content.
Correct.
So after listening to lot of content creations from Hollywood, Bollywood and all, what Guru Mantra they have given, and that's what I have learned, is you cannot create content every day.
Correct.
If you can, you are the best.
Correct.
But it is very, very rare to create content every day.
Correct.
So what you should do, you should create your content either weekly once or monthly once. Schedule an entire day, create content, and then schedule
Post it regularly.
Post it. So that is one mantra.
Correct.
And do not start your content journey, not even the first post, unless you have 2 months content ready.
Ready in your hand. Yeah, right.
Okay. Now, let's say you have 2 months content ready, you are starting. Now, once you reach the end of first month, again start shoot.
Right.
So always keep 1 month in buffer. So do not start when you have 2 months content ready, and keep always 1 month content always in buffer. Why? Because see, if you're doing day-to-day jobs, right? Sometimes you'll not get time, you will cancel your shoot, you'll
Right.
not get time. So you should have some content ready.
Ready. Yeah.
So this is the way. But if you are one of them, so I think in 1 in million can shoot daily.
Daily.
But it is impossible for people like us, you, right? So best is do it.
But do you think every business these days needs to create content for getting, lead opportunities or getting traffic or traction? Is content creation the pavement or the start to getting business? Do you think this is the right channel?
Very good question. And in today's world, that is the right channel.
Oh.
But why, I'll tell you.
Okay.
People don't remember companies,
Mhm.
they remember people.
Right.
So they are humans, right? So they'll always relate with
The
humans.
face.
So for example, right? When you say Apple, you know Steve
Steve
Jobs.
Jobs.
When you say Persistent, you know Anand
Anand.
Deshpande. Right? When you do Tata, right? Today we know, Ratan Tata, right? So people relate with people. And that's why content is important.
Correct.
And that's why I'll go further. Stories are important.
Yeah.
It is not
Stories
content,
behind
it
the
is
business.
stories.
Yeah.
Right? And stories are always related to a human.
Right.
And those stories are related to human, and that human is related to the company.
Right.
So that's why in today's world with this social media and video and all, you should be present on social media. You should have your own presence, but not companies. As a founder, you should be there.
The company should have a face behind the
Absolutely.
company's name, right? An aligned question. You mentioned about relevant content and relevant in any industry.
Right.
How do you think engagement plays a role even after posting a certain piece of content? Because generally these days, people, as you said, they have a calendar ready.
Yeah.
They post,
Yeah.
they shoot accordingly, they post it accordingly.
Right.
But there are, of course, reactions, engagements, comments coming
Right.
onto it. So, in your opinion, how does the engagement to a particular post or to a particular video is important to you?
So when you create content is of no use if there is no engagement.
Correct.
So engagement is everything.
Right.
Okay. But you will not get, see, the problem is many people ask me, I have only 100 views,
Correct.
I had only 50 views,
Correct.
right? I don't have engagement, no one
Correct.
comments on my this thing.
Correct.
See, that is the journey. When I personally started,
Right.
I had 50 views.
Hmm.
So for 1 year, my followers were only 2,000.
Hmm.
Then next month it became 20,000.
Hmm.
But 1 year, when you have less follower, when you have less engagement, you still have to consistently post it.
Correct.
Because that's when the YouTube and Insta understands that you're regular, you're posting at right time,
Consistent.
consistently, and that's where it will give you engagement.
Correct.
So engagement is important, but for engagement, consistency is important.
Correct. You also made a mention about credibility.
Yeah.
If I understand, credibility is on two parts. One is on the content you deliver. How much I should, as a user, if I consume the content, how credible that information
Yeah.
is. But naturally, the product service which I'm trading in, how credible is the quality of my product.
Yeah.
So, how does a brand, the reputation of the brand or the channel, play a role in this entire social media content journey?
No, so there are two aspects to it, right? Credibility. So one is given as a business. If your product quality is not good,
Correct.
there is no use of this social media marketing, anything.
Correct.
It will never sell.
Correct.
It can be sold for once, but it won't be a repeat business.
Correct.
So that is given. As a businessman, your product quality should be the best,
Correct.
which is fine.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're gone. One day you will be done. Now, content creation builds credibility. I'll tell you my own story.
Sure.
So because many people are creating content today, and many people are creating podcast, this is supposed to happen. Right. So a year back, I used to get messages on my Instagram and YouTube that what is your credibility? Who are you?
Right.
Why are you giving gyan?
Right.
Do you know anything? Why are you
Right.
telling me about my business?
Correct.
Right?
So what do you establish?
So
Right.
they're like, why should I listen to you?
Right.
And they are fair there because many people are giving gyan.
Correct.
Right? How do I build my credibility? Then my team told me, till then I had kept my business away from my social media.
Okay.
Because this was my social give back. I want to help people. But then my team said, sir, people needs your credibility. People should know that you have done something and then you have come to this media. So then I started sharing my ComSen story, started sharing my school story, failure, what happened. And for 2 months, people knew that Sagar Babar is just not social media influencer. He has his own company, he runs a company, he runs a school and all.
Correct.
Now the credibility increases.
Correct.
What is your credibility? So you have to build it. You can build it in two ways. One, your existing customer talk about you, right? That you are so good, you solved my this question in this time and all. Or you share knowledge. You share knowledge. For example, if there is accident, these are the 4 things you should do. If insurance guys don't pay you, this is the things. So you share knowledge. I'm telling you that people think that knowledge is available everywhere. But if you go, to a minute level,
Right.
you don't share knowledge of insurance. You share knowledge accident होने के बाद क्या होगा?
Right.
What happens? How do I claim? What happens if they reject it? What happens if they give me only half money? This problem no one is solving.
Correct.
So if you become credible, then you will get business.
A question probably from your business journey.
Right.
If I understand correctly, you initially started ComSense and ComSense was all set.
Right.
And then you came into the social media, influential journey of yours. Has it helped you back into your main business? If yes, in what way?
I never thought when I started this, but it is definitely helping.
Okay.
Not in direct business,
Right.
but it is helping me in conversations.
Right.
So whenever I meet my customers, prospect, the conversation starts with my content. That is helping first. Second thing it's helping me is my credibility.
Correct.
So people think now that Sagar is helping so many entrepreneurs in Maharashtra.
Right.
that means he has a very good social cause. That means he will do good in his company. That means he will take care of his employees.
Correct.
So in credibility is helping. Direct business maybe not,
Correct.
but in credibility it is definitely helping.
Correct. A question which we have been hearing a lot of times from our nano businesses, that there are so many businesses online, not just in the content creation business, but also, like I said, the earlier use of social media to promote brand and advertise their businesses. But how should my brand stand out from everybody else's brand, typically on social media? And like I said, there have been many businesses with whom we typically deal who come across this कि social media तो सब कर रहे हैं, फिर हम अलग से क्या करें और हमारा brand कैसे stand out होगा?
Oh, this is a very good question, and this is the problem, right? So when I asked myself, so my story is, maybe you have heard or not, that why I came into this, there were two things. One, I was working on a book and I went to a publisher with my script and they said, concept is good, but you don't have social media followers.
Okay.
Okay, that's where the journey started. So I said, okay, now as an entrepreneur, you always solve problem. I said, okay, let's come on social media. I didn't have any account till then. So I came on social media and then this started. Now this is the thing, right? Now, when I came on social media, I had option what content I should create. That's where I asked this first question to myself, how will I stand out?
Correct.
So many people are creating content, so many people are creating social media posts and all, how will I stand out? Then I realized that in Maharashtra, by my own experience, that many people in villages are selling their lands because of failed business. They are eating up their dad's pension money, business. They don't know how to do business, right? Then I said, okay, let's connect my vision with the social cause of giving back to the society. And I chose, purposefully I chose Marathi language and Maharashtra. I could have created content in English, Hindi to go India, but I chose my Maharashtra, I chose Marathi and I started creating. So when you have to come and when you have to be different, you have to choose your different story, right? So I chose that I will solve this problem. So that is one thing. So when deAsra members wants to do something, first they have to think ki what is my audience and what different I am doing, right? One. Second, very important point is when you have to show you as different, you should have a story. Like I just told my story.
Yeah.
From a publisher to doing this. So you should have a story.
Correct.
How will you have it? For example, you open a clothing shop in, let's say, Ratnagiri.
Okay.
Okay. Now you want to come on social media, right? What is your story? And I'll tell you one thing. You, me, everyone in this room has different stories. It's just that we don't tell that.
Correct.
So I'm sure in Ratnagiri there would be 5 different similar clothing shops. But what is your story?
Correct.
You have to start with that. Why I started this? What is my purpose? You know, what either I am giving, there are only two things, right? I am giving better quality in same price, okay? Or I am giving same quality in less price.
Lower price, right.
So you have to tell these stories and that's how you will stand out. So first choose your audience and then tell your story. That is the truth mantra I can give you.
Correct. So our entrepreneurs, the nano businesses, typically everybody might not be into the content creation business.
Right.
But they definitely need to get on social media to promote their products, to talk about their business, to talk about their services.
Right.
So because of their busy schedules and because of other journeys, it might not be an ancillary content creation business for them. But social media typically needs to stand out for them for promoting their business through digital means. So that is how even we today kind of tell the entrepreneurs. And there is where the next problem comes. Who will manage my social media and how do I effectively understand the success matrix of it? Whether I or the agency who's working for me, whether we are doing it appropriately or not. And basically the first question, like I said, who will manage the social media?
So I take 3 questions from here. First one which you said is they won't be able to be a content creator.
Correct.
See, in today's world, you do not have an option.
Oh.
You do not have an option than creating content. If you have to stand out, you have to create content. That is the first answer. So content creation and social media cannot stand separate. They are one.
Correct.
So content creation could be anything, right? It could be your story, it could be you writing something, you could do videos or anything, but content creation is important.
Okay.
Now, the second question, shall we do it yourself or hire an agency?
Right.
Right? What I feel, my personal experience, if you can afford, hire an agency, if you can afford. But the brain should be you.
Okay.
Do not give 100% to agency.
Okay.
Because agency will have 20, 30 different customers like you.
Clients, right.
And they will treat everyone similarly.
Mm-hmm.
How will you be special? Cannot be. They cannot. As a business model, agencies cannot treat you special.
Right.
इसका मतलब क्या? Then you have to take control in your hand. The strategy part, the thing, no doubt they'll give you ideas. But the strategy part, thinking part, research part, you should do it.
Okay.
Once you do that, you hire that agency and tell them to execute it.
Okay.
Or get the analytics. They know how to get the analytics well. They will tell you what was right, what was wrong and all. But I would suggest, do not blindly trust on agencies. But you cannot also do without agencies. Right?
Right.
So this is the silver lining, or you can do it.
But here is where the fear in my nano businesses come in. I'll share an example. I recently met a lady who is from a financially sound family. She's running a bags business. The bag she's manufacturing is also of good quality and at par. They are not, very local. But she's doing it at a minimum scale. She knew the importance of social media, but she has that fear of getting herself on social media. So forget the question of having her own, ideology into it, but she's not even in the position to come up on social media, to open the handles on social media, to start the journey on social media. So generally, how should we solve this problem? And this is a very commonly prevailing problem in everybody whom I talk to. And typically, as you said, the people beyond 35, 30, 35, that there is somebody in the house who is managing my social media for me, but I'm not optimally utilizing it. So what message or what, input you have to break this fear and break this barrier?
Very good question. So as I said, now she has money, right?
Right, she has.
Then she should hire agency. Okay. But again, brain should be her. That I'll always say. So to create handles, to start a page, to create the design and all, there should be an agency. She cannot do it. And she has money also. So she should do that.
Correct.
Now, about the fear. It is very common. It is very natural. But you are an entrepreneur.
Right.
You have come here to do business.
And take risks.
And take risk. And this is one of your hurdle.
Right.
That I cannot come on social media.
Right.
But as an entrepreneur, you have to keep solving each problem which comes on your door.
Correct.
So this is one of the problem.
Correct.
You have to solve it.
Correct.
Right? Other option kya hai? I'll tell you, very simple. She wants to sell bags.
Right.
And she knows all women are there maximum on Facebook.
Right.
On some communities.
Right.
Or WhatsApp.
Right.
Or Instagram.
Right.
If she is not seen there, how will she sell it?
Right.
She cannot sell it. Then she should be very much convinced that I cannot sell on social media. I will open a boutique in one local area somewhere and I'll sell, let's say, 10 bags a day and be happy. Either she accepts that or she takes it as a challenge and goes on social media and go where her customers are.
Correct.
So this is what I will say.
Correct.
You have to solve it. There are agencies You have to find your motivation. If you want to sell 1,000 bags a day, you cannot sell in a store.
Correct.
You have to come on social media.
Right.
She has to do it.
Correct. So exactly like I said, these are the problem statements with which entrepreneurs come to us. And I think here is where deAsra brings in value. Like I said, I like the idea of she going to an agency. But because she herself is not an expert in this field, she doesn't know against what benchmarks should she assess the performance of the agency.
Very good.
With whatever I'm paying, am I getting my correct returns or not?
Perfect.
So could you name a few parameters or benchmarks against which she should be able to assess the performance of the social media agency?
Very good. Good question. And this is a practical problem.
Right.
Even I will face it at every stage.
Right.
But there is no one answer to it. Agencies, to mitigate risk to get the best agency, what you can do, instead of hearing to their sales pitch, ask them to give you 5 references. This is very important. So you tell them that people like me, bags company, have you solved their problem before? If yes, I want to call and talk to them.
Okay.
Why 5? Because any agencies will have 3 or 4 their friends only. They will always say good.
Correct.
But you have to take 5.
Right.
If you yourself can do research and find that this agency has worked with this 5 people, very good. But you ask that. But even today they can manipulate it.
Correct.
Saying they will say, send you the 5 customers, those who have got results. But 50 would be there, those who have not got results. You have to find that.
Them first.
Someone should take that feedback.
Correct.
Right? Let's say worst case, you don't find it. Correct. And you take this agency. Now what you should do, when you take this agency, and if you're doing it first time, do not commit for 1 year.
Okay.
Do not commit. Check every month with your open eyes and give 3 months. If, and this is, I am making a bold statement, if any agency cannot give you business in 3 months, those are not good agencies.
Okay.
For you.
And what are those?
They will be good for someone else, but not for your business. So always remember, find a good agency, but test it in every 3 months. But if they are not giving you business in 3 months, find another one.
Okay.
But there is no option. It is like you have to find another one, and then you will find one जो आपके साथ लंबा चलेगा.
Correct.
Right? But you have to test. If they give result, put more money. If they give result, put more money. That's what you can do.
Correct. But what are those analytics against which I need to, track their performance?
One analytics is business.
Lead generation.
Business. So if the question is you want to sell bags, you should go to the agency saying today.
With a direct goal.
Well, that should be your North Star. Ki today without social media, I am selling 5-6 bags a day. इसका मतलब 150 bags a month. ये मेरा है without social media. Can you make it 300 in next 3 months?
Right.
Then leads and everything come under that. And lead is a Mayajal.
Correct.
And it's a bhul bhulaiya also. Right?
Right.
So your metrics should be business.
The end goal.
Anything should be business.
Correct.
Do not fall in this trap of lead and followers and all. End of the day, you're getting business or not. That is the most important thing.
Correct. While working with the agencies, the next typical problem faced by my nano entrepreneurs is these companies ask for paid campaign money. And how do I kind of look after how much should I invest in a paid campaign? Proportionately, of course, I'm asking, versus what traction should I get organically?
See, I feel paid campaign is of less risk.
Okay.
Than generating this social media leads. Why? Paid campaigns, you get complete analytics. And paid campaigns, you can start small. If you see traction, you can put more. Means what? Shall we take the bag example or any other example you have?
We have, a tailoring example also,
okay,
where she is preparing the kurtis or anything by her own.
Okay.
So even that example could
Perfect. Let's take this. So you have a woman entrepreneur who manufactures kurtis at home or wherever, and she wants to sell it.
Correct.
Now, if I hire an agency, typical the model of agency is they charge you some fixed amount.
Right.
Let's say they'll say I'll take 30,000 or 50,000 fixed to set up your ad, meta ad and all those things, videos and all those things they will take once. It varies to 3 lakhs also, but depends. It starts from 15,000 to 3 lakhs. That is done. After that, they ask you for budget.
Correct.
Okay. Now you should solve with small budget. You should say, again same logic, that today without social media, I am selling 20 kurtis a day. My target is 50 kurtis a day. What will you do? So they will say, okay, give me 500 budget or 1000 budget a day, per day. Okay.
Correct.
You should give it. Why I am saying? Because in 3 weeks they'll tell you that whether your ads are working or not working. And in 3 weeks you will see whether your business is grown up or not. And this is testing, no? So you can always pull out.
Right.
You can say that I paid 500 rupees per month.
Correct.
15,000 मैंने invest कर दिया, but मुझे business नहीं आ रहा है. So there are only two things which are going wrong. Either that agency is not good.
Correct.
Or your product is not.
Product is not at par.
ठीक है. So chances of agency not good are more.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not. There are very good agencies in market.
Okay.
But do they understand real ad market, performance marketing? There are very few players. And so you have to find that it will work. Best part now, I spoke about the negative aspect. कि 1 month में ये नहीं चला, I pull out. But the positive aspect is very important. Let's say you put 15,000 and you got 1 lakh worth kurtis का order. Now you understood this. कि if I put 15, मुझे 1 lakh मिल रहा है. Then, and you know agency is good, it's working.
Equation has matched.
Matched. You put 30,000 and see
if it
2 lakh हो रहा है क्या?
doubled.
Now you know 2 lakh भी हो रहा है. अरे वाह. Then it's all about money now and your manufacturing capacity. So now it is about money and manufacturing because your model is set now.
Correct.
कि मुझे 100 rupees sell करने के लिए 15 rupees का खर्चा है.
Correct.
So if I put 1 lakh, I will get 15 lakhs.
Correct.
So this is the logic. That's why I say ad is better.
Correct.
Performance market is better, but you need very good agencies there.
Correct. But looking at the scale of my entrepreneurs, and not just the scale, even their willingness to do that. If I'm not in a position to go for an agency, what path would you recommend for me to start my social media journey by my own? Are there any courses or other kind of knowledge material which talks about how effectively and optimally you put money in paid campaigns so as to get the desired results?
There are many courses. You can go to Coursera, you can go to YouTube. YouTube has very good paid courses on YouTube ads and all. I'm sure deAsra has some content on how to run ads and all,
Correct.
right? Some tools and all. They should
Correct.
do that. But one thing here,
What
if
caution?
you want a risk-free ad, matlab, if you go to agency and say ki whatever money I am putting, I should get business. Then your organic content will help you.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, you have just started this manufacturing kurti ka company and you are going in market. Okay. There are people don't know you, don't know your brand, anything. So आपका जो ad spend है ना वो ज़्यादा रहेगा. It
Right.
will be more.
Right.
But 1 year you have put time and money on creating content. People, भले वो 1000 है, but you have 1000 followers. Okay, people know your brand. You have 100 customers. And that time if you do ad, no, it will perform best.
Okay.
So you have to balance it.
Correct.
Go organic first, then go paid.
And I'm sure this will come with experience.
It is.
In case you're handling your own,
Yeah.
social media,
Yeah.
this will definitely come with experience,
It will
with the amount.
You are
of-
right. And that's why I said you cannot blindly say, ये agency तुम देखो. At least at nano level. There are companies who will give it to agency and they'll do it. But at nano level, we should be very focused कि agency चलता है नहीं चलता है, metrics क्या है, 15 में 1 लाख आ रहा है क्या, what is happening, मेरे पास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है क्या, all those things you should look at it.
And I'm sure while doing this, in this journey, there will be mistakes for sure.
Yes.
Any common mistakes which prima facie could be avoided?
Yes, very important is when you do these ads or when you do social media and general organic post and all, many a time people are not following a pattern. So when I mean a pattern, today they'll post about their story कि कुर्ता कैसे बनता है. Tomorrow they'll talk about some vacation in Mahabaleshwar or somewhere, right? It is irrelevant to your customer. So consistently creating similar stories. So for example, my audience understand stories.
Right.
If I give them gyan, they'll not understand. है ना? So similarly, one mistake people do is they are not consistent in content. Right? So people say that they create content which they like. You should create content which your prospect like.
Users like.
है ना? So that is one.
Correct.
Second, when you spend on social media, ads and all, the biggest mistake people do is they don't understand the prospect.
Correct.
So unless you understand, so suppose you are selling kurtis to 30 plus age group, you should understand them, where they go, which is their community, what they wear and all those things. Accordingly you should plan. So in technical term, it is called know your customer.
Correct.
You should have, it's called ICP, know your customer. You should know your customer. People do not think about customer. They just say, I want to come on social media, I will open this page, I will open this thing, and I am not getting business. But unless you don't know who is your customer, you cannot. So two mistakes, major mistakes people do. And third, what you said is finding the right agency.
Right agency.
If they don't find, they lose money and then they lose interest.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, very, very insightful. Since we, there's some time to stop the conversation, which I would have loved to have taken into experiences, the questions which we normally get from entrepreneurs. But we more of spoke for B2C kind of journey. Like you said in the initial, conversation of ours, that LinkedIn is more for B2B, or there might be other platforms. Is there a different way of tackling, reaching out to more established businesses, typically B2B, on social media, and which platforms work well for them?
If it is B2B, it has to be LinkedIn.
Okay.
It has to be LinkedIn. So I have a separate course just for LinkedIn. Okay. But few trips from that course is LinkedIn is very, very powerful. You don't need any other marketing if you use LinkedIn only, but it's very expensive. So if you compare Insta and LinkedIn, LinkedIn is at least 5 to 10x expensive.
Right.
Okay, so that you should know. Now, LinkedIn mein what it works is engagement and how it works. So LinkedIn has something called as Sales Navigator.
Okay.
So for example, you are this plant manufacturer in Chakan, Pune.
Right.
This pot, and you want to sell it only to corporates.
Correct.
You don't want to sell it in stores and anything. You want to sell it to corporates or interior decorators who are B2B business. LinkedIn gives you a tool called Sales Navigator where you can say, go and find these corporates. Okay. Now, not only corporates, you can find the people inside that corporate. Matlab, if you want to sell this to only persistent like companies, so persistent mein ye decision kaun leta hai? Procurement head, maybe whatever they have, right? So those people also you will find it on LinkedIn. Now, once you find that and once you tag it, LinkedIn is so powerful that it will tell you, let's say you came up with this 200 people you want to target.
Correct.
LinkedIn will always tell you, out of this 200 people, this procurement head of persistent has just posted something on LinkedIn. Now you have to go there, type something, engage with him. He should know you are there, right? Send him a message, engage with him. You create your own content. That's what you have to do. But LinkedIn is so powerful, and there are many courses of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so powerful, you don't need anything else. If you do LinkedIn and if you attend events and if you marry these two, that's it, your business is set.
Okay. But not all businesses might be on LinkedIn, right? Like the interior designer you said,
Yeah.
that category.
Yeah.
Corporates, of course, might be.
Yeah.
But in this typical example, they might not be
Yes.
on LinkedIn. Any other place to hunt
Facebook.
for? Right.
And Facebook also communities.
Right.
You should go in communities.
Correct.
So there is like maybe India interior design community.
Correct.
Where there might be 1,000 interior designers group hai. Go there, sponsor. Go there, sponsor, pay them. Right? Because you are getting target 1,000 audience at one place. You don't want to put efforts across everywhere.
Right.
Find those communities, go and build them.
Right. Right.
So Facebook is best.
Good. A question tailing to the end. The creatives, the post on social media, like I said, again, there's an agency who can make them prepare. But there, in today's AI world, there of course might be some good tools, some good platforms which would help you get into them, make them by your own self, reduce cost. Firstly, your take on usage of the AI platforms for this, and secondly, any recommendations for any platforms?
So, use of platforms for two things. One is content creation,
right,
and one is creative.
Correct.
Okay. So, as per my knowledge, I'll answer the easiest one, the creative. Creative is not yet matured. Okay. So, you be very careful that you should not create content by any AI tools, especially creatives. What you should do with this AI platform like ChatGPT or Microsoft or Google's platform, you should take ideas from them.
Okay.
That what should be there in my creative so that it is more engaging, that ideas they'll give you very perfect. Content, you can use these tools. Content, the one caution you should be, and for all deAsra and everyone who's doing business, that do not copy content as is from the AI engine to your social media. Why? I'll tell you. Because LinkedIn, wherever you post and write content, LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever, their algorithms already know, their algorithm already know that it is copied from something. So what they do now, that if you have copied a text exactly from ChatGPT or anywhere, they will put your post down.
Very important insight, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Never copy it. Because they have stronger algorithms than you. What you can do, take idea from that, take a structure from that,
Correct,
but write it in your own words.
Okay.
That is most important.
Right.
So unless you do that, AI is of no use. So in future, AI will come, people are saying humanize.ai. There is a concept called humanize where the content which ChatGPT has created, you can humanize it and put it. But nowadays, LinkedIn like tools are understanding that also, that it is generated from human AI. So it's better that you write it in your own style and use it.
Correct.
What you said, how it can save time? It will save time in ideas.
Correct.
So the AI should be your buddy.
Correct.
So when you're creating your content,
Correct.
you should ask questions to him. What should be the content? What engagement should be there? It will help time. So you should do that, but create your own content, create your own creative.
Right. Any recommendations for platforms, AI platforms for creating content?
So I use ChatGPT, but paid version I use.
Okay.
So it is expensive, some 2,000 rupees a month.
Right.
But the paid version is 100 times faster and better than the non-paid version.
Okay.
So non-paid version is of no use actually. So if you can take paid version, you can share with friends, share with the community. It is fine, but take paid version.
All right. So many a times, like I said, the entrepreneurs who are in the starting phase might not be able to hire an agency directly. They might not be able to keep aside a budget directly. So they would, of course, themselves start, getting on social media and get up to a certain level before, breaking off for an agency. So any inputs or suggestions for those entrepreneurs in this phase typically?
Yeah, I think there are more than 70-80% small, medium entrepreneurs who
Correct.
cannot afford.
Correct.
So what they should do, first is they should take a basic course online to understand what is social media.
Correct.
Or listen like this podcast, they should understand it.
Correct.
Now, they always, or many people across Maharashtra, India have mobile phones. So mobile phone solves a big problem.
Correct.
You should start creating content using mobile phones.
Right.
Okay. Once you start earning money, then you can bring professional cameras and hire agencies and all. But creating content is important. So one person asked me, sir, shall I creating content, a scrappy content is important, or creating a quality component important?
Correct.
I said, not creating content is a sin. Scrappy is still okay.
Okay.
Having a quality is a privilege.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens in this dilemma? People don't create content.
Correct.
So the small, medium entrepreneurs, if they have mobile phone or if their friends have good mobile phone, they should start creating content with normal mobile phones.
Yeah.
Once they find trend, once they find this thing traction, they can invest.
Yeah.
But they should start, they should do the course, they should use mobile phones, they should use their own creativity and then start. But go on social media and start.
Correct. Yeah, we I think have had many good content creators who are trending right now. If we go back and look at their videos 2 years back, 3 years back, I'm sure even the visuals were not that clear.
Yeah.
The setup was not that
Exactly.
great. They did not have lights. They probably did not have that camera setup.
Exactly.
The voice modulation was very weak. The portrait or the landscape mode was not very strong.
Which is fine.
Yeah, exactly. But because they started there, today they are where they are today.
Absolutely. They should start.
Right.
They should start content. They should know their audience and they should start.
Right. One aligned question to the agency, and a very, again, whatever the questions which I'm kind of putting forth are backed by the experiences which we get from entrepreneurs. Generally, if they go to an agency, and it might be a very hired agency with a lot of budget, it could only be for a particular service that I need to get my page set up, I need to get this post going, etc. Lot many times there are creative conflicts between the business owner, the nano entrepreneur, and the social media guy. There is a communication which the social media guy is trying to convey to the business owner, but business owner, either because of their preconceived notions or their experiences or the ideology behind the business, have a different opinion. How to get on a common point? Because of course, the social media guy also is talking from experience, and even the entrepreneur is speaking from some story at the back. So how do you arrive at a common point, and what is that common point that you get the balance between both the opinions?
Very good, and this is very common, not only with a small entrepreneurs but large, everywhere it is a common thing.
Correct.
There I'll back the social media guys, the agencies. Okay, I think you should listen as a founder. You should listen to the agency.
Okay.
What you should do is you can ask, give me 5 options.
Correct.
Right? But if you don't like anything in 5,
correct,
let's say they give 5 more.
Correct.
If you don't like those 5 also,
correct,
then it's your problem, not the agency problem. Okay? If this confusion or dilemma is there, I think you should listen to agencies, because they have done that work for multiple customers.
Correct.
You are just starting.
Correct.
So this is what I will honestly answer: listen to agencies. But when I say listen to agency, see who on the agency side is working with you. So on the agency side, a fresher is working, then he is as good as you. Then I cannot answer. But if the agency founder, the agency main guy is working with you, he has tons of experience. So listen to him. So in this conflict, see that who you're working from other side, and accordingly take the decision.
On the other side.
But again, the problem is same. If you spend 15-20 days on just creative alignment, you're losing the market. You're losing the time. It's better take creative, go live because you're doing analytics.
Correct.
And then go in analytics.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be experiential based.
Yeah.
You can experiment, you can test the experiment, run,
Absolutely.
reiterate.
Absolutely.
Right, of course. You mentioned about analytics. How does analytics on social media? How is the analytics on social media measured? And do different channels have different metrics of analytics?
100%. So it is the most underrated concept that Indians ignore is analytics, right? So all this social media platform has their own analytic tools, right? And why it's important is, for example, what happens is, for example, you are putting a post on Instagram. What you visually see is how many likes, how many shares, and how many comments, right?
Correct.
But there is much more analytics behind it.
Right.
What is the engagement time? What is my
Impressions.
average engagement time? Where the audience is coming from? Right? Is it a Pune audience, Mumbai audience, or a global audience? All this analytics, unless you go cut through and see, you cannot create next strategies. Right? For example, we spoke about creative. Which creative is working? Which is not working? So all these analytics tools are there inside. So Google has its own analytics tools for YouTube videos and Google Ads. Instagram has its own analytics tools. LinkedIn has detailed analytics tool. So when you learn social media, do not ignore analytics.
Correct.
Because analytics will tell you all the different parameters which by usual eyes you don't know.
Correct.
So focus on analytics, and like you said, key metrics. Our North Star is business.
Right.
But in engagement, the metrics is how much time a user is there on my video.
Post.
Very important. How many times he's sharing. So is it a viral video or not?
Correct.
Right? For YouTube long videos, let's say your podcast. We have shoot a 45 minutes podcast. You have to see 1000 people viewed it, but first 2 minutes mein, how many people left? And is there any pattern that all the Mumbai guys, let's say, from Mumbai geography,
Correct.
you found that first 5 minutes mein people are leaving. Maybe there is another pattern that Gen Z are not getting any hook and first 2 minutes only they are leaving.
Correct.
This patterns, everything only analytics tell you.
Correct.
So you have to focus on analytics.
And how periodically should you view these analytics?
Very good question. I would suggest weekly once to minimum.
Oh.
If you can do 2 days or weekly, so you have to go and see analytics.
Correct.
Otherwise, andhere mein teer maar rahe ho to.
Correct.
You don't know what you're doing.
Correct. You mentioned about demographics a lot.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the age group from which you're coming, the geography from which you're coming. What I have heard or what I have learned while working with these businesses, that you can do geo-targeted ads.
Yeah.
You can go for a specific group of, age group or a specific language typically. Like you said, you do in Marathi, you do it for Maharashtra. How important is it to set all of this even before publishing your content? And at what stage should you kind of relook at it?
See, if you're doing organic content, you cannot set it.
Correct.
You cannot do it.
Correct.
Google decides where to show your content, or Instagram decide where to. But in paid content, you can do it. You can tell, let's say you are starting a preschool, okay, in Baner area of Pune. You can tell Google that 5 kilometers around Baner, target the audience. That is possible. You can tell Google that because it's a preschool, age group of women from 25 to 35, target that.
Correct.
So you can do that only in paid ads, but in organic, you will not know where it will take.
Correct.
But once you have good followers, once you have good reach, you will have your own analytics in that. There you will understand. So for example, my audience, I know it clearly. How many are from tier 2, tier 3, how many are from major cities, how many from Dubai, US. So I know that audience.
Correct. And so you set it per post or per ad?
Per post.
Per post.
The ad one, the paid one?
Yeah, the
it's
paid one.
Per ad.
Per ad.
You have to do it per ad.
Okay. Okay. While we are at the end of this wonderful conversation, sir, any end thoughts for my nano entrepreneurs?
One tip is in today's world, you cannot do business without social media. Means at least you can say 90% business you cannot do without social media. That is important. You do take education of social media, learn, try, if possible, try and create content. It will do wonders. If you have to stand out, create content. Last thing, how do you stand out? Only discipline can make you stand out. Matlab, for example, if 1000 people see this video and they decide to stand out, only one will actually do it. Try to be that one. See, your business will grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very insightful.
Yeah.
Can we get into some quick tips and answers, please? How often should brands post on social media for maximum engagement?
Depends which channel you are. Instagram average once in 2 days. LinkedIn once in 3 days. Facebook once in 2 days.
What's your top tip for growing an Instagram following organically?
You should have your own style, your own storytelling style, and you should choose your niche.
One tip for reputation management.
Never do anything fraud. Be always genuine. Whatever it takes, whether it takes 2 years for taking your follower to 1 lakh, always be genuine.
What's the biggest mistakes brands make on social media?
I feel storytelling is missing.
Missing today. Okay. How do you stay ahead of the ever-changing algorithms on platforms like Instagram?
Only analytics, which we spoke. If you go to the analytics of each platform, you will understand how algorithm works.
Can you name one tool every social media manager should use?
ChatGPT.
For sure. What's more important, consistency or creativity in content?
Consistency.
Definitely.
100%.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was an end to a great and insightful discussion in the first episode of Dream Big podcast series. Stay tuned. Something exciting is coming along. For such enriching and insightful conversations, do subscribe, like and share the social media channels on deAsra Foundation and Yashasvi Udyojak.